I'm Chris.
I'm Sandy.
And this is Parenting Autism. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 140 of the Parenting Autism podcast. We appreciate all of our listeners from all around the world, and we hope that today we can give you some ideas, pointers, tips, and that'll help you along your autism journey and maybe give you some joy and encouragement along the way. Right?
Yep.
Sandy?
I like that very much.
Yeah. Okay. So here we are. Let's get to it.
Okay. So we're in the middle of summertime, and Bryce and I have kind of changed our school schedule to be 4 days of school and then 3 days off, which has been kind of nice because a lot of his friends that are not homeschooled are on their summer break. So we have been doing some fun things on Friday. I call it like our field trips. And it's worked out well. So we took him to Chuck E. Cheese a few weeks ago because I know that's kind of geared for the younger kids. And Bryce hasn't been there since he was really little to where he wouldn't remember it. But I wanted to kind of test and see how he did with all the loud sounds before we took him to Dave & Buster's, which is larger, a little more adult themed and a lot more crowded. So I took him to Chuck E. Cheese. We met some friends. The only bad thing was as soon as we pulled up, and I got there right when they opened, 2 vans pulled up that had wraps, like, you know, the logo wraps on them that were from a local daycare. And you know how Bryce is right now with the sounds of toddlers. And I thought, yes. Really? Okay, well, this will be a big test. And he goes, Mama, there's a lot of kids here. I'm like, yeah, so let's put your headphones on. And fortunately, they all went straight over to the eating area. So I said, okay, they're over there eating. They're not playing the games yet, so we can be over here and we can kind of scope out the games, which there was hardly anybody there. And then our friends that we met showed up, and it turned out really well. He did great. He really enjoyed it. And he's been playing this game on Roblox that has him in an arcade and winning tickets. So for him to be there live and winning tickets was a super big deal for him. And actually, I was able to catch on video when he hit the jackpot, and I put a short on his YouTube video. Because the first time he hit the jackpot, I wish I would have caught that expression because his jaw dropped and he was like in shock. Like, I did it. I really did it. But I caught it the next 2 times and it was really cool. And then this past Friday, we met some different friends at Dave & Buster's. And that's newer to our area, so we haven't been there. It wasn't super crowded, definitely more crowded. But he had such a fun time with them. And what was the beautiful thing for this was they had a summer pass, his friends, and he was able to play the entire time with their pass. And they were really great boys who, when they hit their daily max of 2,000 tickets, they let Bryce shop first. And he was able to get a prize from the shop. And they said, you can have all 2,000. But he didn't even use the 2,000. He used like maybe 1,000 of it. So then the other boys could get something too. But
very nice.
It really, really made for a great experience for him. And for me, it's good for me to get out, good for me to meet some friends. I have to find a place to sit. So I sat on the large hippo from the Hungry Hippos and talked to my friend while Bryce could go around and play. I have about 2 hours and then I'm maxed out. But it gets us out and we're moving on and trying to get back on track, out in the world and getting Bryce some interaction and social time, which we all know with autism is so important. And I will say, like, the friends that we met at Chuck E. Cheese, they also have some special needs. So it's different when he plays with them. And one little girl, she like took his hand and just led him around. It was super sweet, And the 3 boys, they're typical boys that don't have any special needs, but they know Bryce well enough, and he does just as well playing with them. So I love it that he has that opportunity to interact and have social encounters with all kids of all abilities. And that's really great. The Friday in between those 2 outings, we went over to his best friend Michael's house and played with him and Nicholas. So that's Michael's brother. So that was another fun outing. And then he's been doing bowling this summer. He had his area competition, which you took him to 2 weeks ago, and he did really well that day, actually. And so he placed first and got a ribbon. And then he's got his regional coming up this coming Saturday. Anything you want to share from bowling specifically, or we're kind of good?
I can share about Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so every week when we go to practice, there's a team on the adjacent lane, and, we become friends with them, and we see them at different sports too. So there was a young man who was really struggling with bowling, and he kept getting gutter balls, and his score at the end was like 20 or something. It was just, I could just see he was deflated, very down about the whole thing. He couldn't figure it out. So I went over to try to help him. Okay, maybe if we push the ball down the ramp a little harder, it'll stay toward the middle. But that didn't work. And then we tried a house ball instead of his ball, and that didn't seem to make much difference. So this was going on for a few weeks. We were just trying to figure it out. The coach for the whole league came over and tried to help him, and we just didn't seem like we were getting anywhere. And then it dawned on me that I had an extra bowling ball in the garage that just had been sitting there. And I said, well, I said, I have another ball. I'll bring it next week. And I said, it's a little heavier, so, we'll see how it works. And so that was the week that you missed.
Yeah.
And I brought it in, and he immediately started bowling down the middle of the lane. He was getting 8s and 9s, and he was so overjoyed. And I told him, I said, look, Ryan, you're in the lead. And he had never been in the lead before. And he's like, I'm in the lead. And he was just so excited. I think he even won the game, either at least one game, if not both games. And he was just, if you could just see the smile on his face and the joy, it was just incredible. He went around telling everybody, I knew it was the ball, and so the following weeks I brought the ball for him to use, and he was just so happy. So it just made my heart smile to be able to help him figure out, because he was so frustrated. And the coaches are busy, doing other things, and they don't always have time to individually help each bowler, because, we've got,
oh yeah, there's so many,
30 some lanes of bowlers, you know, and you only have so many coaches. So I was just so glad that just all came together for him.
I know. And then this past Saturday, you weren't able to go, and I took Bryce, and Ryan wasn't there, but one of the moms of the athletes who her daughter dates Ryan, she came up to me and she gave me a hug, and she goes, I just have to tell you that your husband, he gave a ball for Ryan to use, and Ryan told me how much he loved that, and that Chris is the best coach he's ever had. And she said, I just want to make sure that he knows how much that meant to Ryan. She says it changed him.
It did.
And
it really
I
did.
said he was, and I told her that you had told me, how happy you were and how happy and excited Ryan was. And she goes, I just want to make sure that Chris gets that message. I said, I'll tell him when we get home.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And that's what we're there. And like she said, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just there for Bryce. We're there for everyone that we encounter that we can help.
And bring joy to.
Yeah,
you know?
like Lily, she's the one that Bryce has been bowling with this particular season. And she's very, very quiet. And she talks in a really soft whisper. So I always have to say, I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yeah, I know, me too.
But she said to me, and we were probably 7
weeks,
7 turns into the game, the first game.
Yeah.
And she says suddenly, today's my birthday. And I'm like, today's your birthday? And then she smiles. She goes, I'm 24. I said, that's awesome. And then I stood up. I go, would you like a birthday hug? And she's like, yes. So I just gave her a big hug. And, you know, she didn't even need a present. She just, like, that hug was a great gift for her, you know, and a big smile and somebody showing that they care.
Yes.
You know, so it warms my heart.
It's a great group of people.
Yeah. So we always enjoy our Special Olympics, and this has been fun this summer with the bowling. Mm-hmm. So I was going to talk a little bit about this one thing in school and how I saw such a big difference in 1 week with Bryce and his behaviors. So it was a couple weeks ago that we were doing a school lesson, and Bryce got something wrong on a review. And when something gets wrong, it puts an X on the screen instead of, or like a red X instead of a green check mark. And, you know, it triggers him like, you know, just an instant boom. Either if he has the mouse in his hand, it'll slam on the desk, or his fist will go on the desk. And I get it. He's frustrated that he got something wrong. But I said to him, hey, listen, you can't react that way. And then I said, you know what? I can understand. I did not like it when I used to get red X's on my papers. I said, but my teacher would have to do that for me. And sometimes they could write a note with what the correct answer was. So then I could learn what I did wrong. I said, and what if the teacher never told me? Then I would go through life thinking I knew the right answers when I really didn't, right? So it's really to help you. It's not to hurt you. So if you can remember that, then I don't think you'll get angry, because you're going to remember that that's what that's for. Now, I tell you that like all he did was bang his fist. It's not true. It's not the only thing. I made a note here. He actually came over to me in tears and he cried. He literally cried and sobbed for 10 minutes on my lap. He didn't want to leave the room. He just laid there on my lap and he cried and he cried.
Because he got one answer wrong?
Because he got one answer wrong. So I just soothed him.
He's never done that for me.
Yeah, it was a full 10 minutes because we were on the 10-minute break. He didn't even want to take a break. He just wanted to cry. We talked it out. I, calmly just explained all that to him so that he would know you didn't, it's going to happen, honey. And I will try to tell him too, because I'm trying to prepare him for the future, for adulthood, and I'm like, if you have a job, and what if you're doing your job wrong? Whoever's your boss, they're going to have to be able to tell you that you're doing something wrong.
So that
right?
So that
you can do your job right. And you can't get angry if they tell you that. It's going to happen. And that's when I told him again about the teacher. And, I said, I still don't like it if I get something wrong. But then I'm like, oh, thank you for telling me, because then that way I can learn from it. Okay. So it's all how we look at it. And that's what I just kept telling him. So after 10 minutes, I said, okay, you ready to get back to school? And he's like, okay, can I have like a 5-minute break to play my game? Because I didn't really take a break. I said, sure, we can do that. And we moved through. Okay. So now fast forward 1 week later, we're doing a review and he got something wrong. And his immediate reaction was, that's okay, Mommy. That's okay. They're just putting that there so that I can learn from it. And I said, you're absolutely right, buddy. That's exactly what it is. And now you know the right answer.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he got that. But
that's awesome.
What a difference from going through what we went through the week before. And that's going to happen to him sometimes. It's a true meltdown to where he just can't control those emotions. But staying calm, giving him explanations, which he likes that a lot, to the point when he's calm, he can receive the explanations. Because I know initially he's still in whatever frame of mind he's in, that it's hard for him to grasp it. But once I knew he had it, we were able to move forward. And then not only that, he applied it the next week, and it made my heart really happy. Mm-hmm. And he did a math exam last week, and he got a 95%. He was happy with that. Like, it didn't bother him that he got one wrong at all.
Good.
So I think, that's the stuff we're kind of working with him a lot. I know I struggle remembering executive function, but I think Bryce's brain is, ready for that now. Where before, a couple years ago, we were trying to work on that, and I just don't think he was ready to receive as much information as he's able to receive now. Mm-hmm. It's going to be at the pace that his brain is developing, and that's why he has, the delays, and that's okay, but he will get there, and I can see him getting there with each thing. Which, on that topic of him working on his own pace, we had purchased several years ago the Dave Ramsey
money.
Yeah, like
junior.
The money managing. I think it's called
Finance
Junior or something
for kids.
Yeah, that wasn't a great plug for it, but anyway, it's Dave Ramsey and it's the junior version.
Financial Peace Junior, maybe.
I think that might be it. So we had shown it to Bryce, but he really wasn't ready to grasp all of that. Where now, in his OT, they're working with him on money. They're working with him on managing time, managing money. So they're supporting us in that. So while they're teaching him there twice a week, I also want to be teaching him at home. And so what I've learned through the cognitive behavior is that Bryce really struggles with having too many steps presented to him. And even though we've known this, it's like it's coming more into play as he's getting older, because he can only remember to do so many things. Either he's going to get distracted or he truly just can't remember it. He's probably like a 2 to 3 steps kind of kid, that he can remember. So we have worked hard with lists, and we have, tried to do different things throughout the several past years, that we would put lists in his bedroom. We would put lists in the bathroom so he would know the steps to do, just for getting ready, just for taking a bath, just, different things like that. And then he would get upset about the lists. So I started this list for what they would call chores, but it's really, I told him, it's like opportunities for you to earn points, which is rewards for Bryce.
Yeah.
So first,
chores have such a negative connotation.
Yeah, right? So I just said it's just opportunities that...
Opportunities sounds much better.
Doesn't that much better? It's like, and if you do it, then I'll give you check marks. And then once a week, you can cash in all your check marks, and we'll give you... I said, do you want to do money, or do you want to do the points like we do now? And he said, I think right now I'd still like to do points. I said, okay. And if you ever want to switch to cash, I'll pay you in cash. You just let me know. Okay. So we started that last week. And when I did it, initially I had 9 different things that he could possibly do. And not everything would be an everyday, because one of them was like bring in the groceries, help vacuum, not everyday kind of thing. But some of them were everyday opportunities.
Check the mail.
Checking the mail was one that was new to him, and he likes that. Instead of doing set the table, clear the table, and do the dishes, I just chose one. And I thought, let's just get him clearing the table. If I can get him to do that,
he's been doing good.
Then I'll
that.
get to the other one, right? And then the other one that I had on there, which I'm trying to think what that was. But anyway, he's been doing good with that every day. But I took the others off because I thought, I don't want him to be overwhelmed. I want him to focus on these 3. And if we get these 3, then we can move on to the next ones. And so that's been working well for him. And actually, he's going to get paid today for the first time. So I know he'll be happy about that.
Cool.
And then there were also 5 books that came with the series. And Bryce does not like to read books. But I said, well, if you read these books, they're really important. They're going to teach you lessons on money, and you're going to need to know this stuff, especially as you get older. I said, I'll give you 5 points for reading a book. He goes, I'll read them all right now. And I said, well, I don't want you to read them all right now because I want you to understand what you're reading. Yes. You're going to rush through them. But if you want to read one right now, I'll give you 5 points. And he did. And he read every single word in the book.
Great.
And he understood it. And he told me he wants to do the rest of them.
Motivation.
So, I was really pleased with that. And I really, again, just think this has to do with timing of where he's ready to receive this now and really apply it. And that's a good step forward. So that was pretty cool. And I did notice with Bryce, going back to the lists, that, he's had some resistance. So this past week when we were at therapy, that's what I brought up, because I try to bring up like one thing each week. And so with Bryce's permission, I said, is it okay if we talk about lists? And he said, yes. And I said, okay. I said, I explained that he seemed to have a resistance to lists. They upset him. And even though I know they would help him, he didn't want to do them. And so maybe we could figure out why. So he was able to tell us that he wants to be able to memorize the list. And when it's too many things and he can't memorize it, then it's frustrating for him and it makes him feel bad. So she kind of worded it like it makes him feel inadequate, bad about himself because he can't remember everything. And then I can see that because then he thinks he's failing. Yeah. And Bryce does not like to feel like a failure, which who does? So I was like, okay, I can work with that. So I said, so we talked it out there together, the three of us. And so we came home with an agreement that I could put up to 3 things on a list and put it in his bedroom for him. And he also agreed that I could put a list in the bathroom if I felt we needed it. And he would be okay with that, because those are the main 2 rooms where he needs the visual reminders. So we said, is that okay with you, Bryce? And he said, yes, I can work with that. Okay, great. Because he thinks he can remember everything and he wants to be able to remember everything, but he can't. So there's some steps that he has down pat, right? So that's great. Why put those on the list? He already knows those. Let's just put the ones that he struggles with to remember. So I've done that. And so I've had the list up. And then this week, I just kind of told him, okay, I'm just going to give you some reminders. So that way your brain will develop the habit and you'll do it on your own, but I'm not going to do it for you. So when you forget, to pick up your clothes and put them in the hamper, or you forget to hang up your towel, I might redirect you to your list, or I may just say, Bryce, it's time to do that, or I'll take you to it and show you and say, what did you forget? I said, and I'm only doing that so that you do the action and I don't do it for you, so that your brain can remember to do it. Okay? You're not doing anything wrong. You're just learning this. And I think it's so important that he knows he's not doing something wrong, because in his mind, he will automatically get upset with himself. And then when he gets upset with himself, that's when he wants to hurt himself or, do something, punish himself in some way. So I understand that I'm his mom, and it may appear that I'm coddling him too much, because not everybody in this world is going to do that for him. However, he's still only 11 years old, and his development is not quite of an 11-year-old, and he needs to hear that right now. But in time, he won't need that. That's why we're working with him now, so that hopefully when he is older, he'll be able to manage his emotions and remember these things.
Yeah, I think that, I've noticed over the past months that he has trouble thinking about what's next, right? So he'll finish one task, but then he doesn't think about what's after that. So, for instance, you finish your food. Well, after you finish your food, then you throw away your trash, right? He'll just go back to his game or whatever he's doing, or just not even think about doing that. Or so I'm trying. I try to remind them, say, Bryce, always be thinking about what's next, right? Is there something else that you should be doing? And it's hard for him, and I don't know if it's because of the autism or the ADHD or his stroke or a combination of all three, but he does have a hard time with it. But I can tell parents out there that if you have a child similar to Bryce, that the communication does get better, because the older he gets, the more he can articulate what he's thinking and why things bother him. Like before, we only knew that things bothered him, but we didn't know why they bothered him. But now he's able to tell us, like, it bothers me because blank, fill in the blank. So he's filling in the blanks for us now. And so when he fills in the blanks, then we can help him even more. But without having those answers, it's a little more difficult. You're protecting him more from the outside things that bother them instead of dealing with them. But now we're starting to be able to deal with what bothers him and talk him through it, give him guidance, and especially through this cognitive behavior therapy that he's doing. It's been working wonders with him. And
I agree.
So, I mean, when he was growing up, we would always ask the therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, ABA therapist, hey, when he does something wrong or whatever, he wants to hurt himself. We even ask the psychologist, right? Mm-hmm. And so none of them really had a solid answer. They were, well, it's not our department. Well, we don't know what to do there. Or, maybe you should go see this person or that person. But it seems to me in our situation that the cognitive behavior therapy, which is CBT for short, has been the most beneficial for these self-injurious behaviors and these issues that we just haven't been able to get past. And I think it has something to do with Bryce's age now and better understanding and better communication. Coupled with that therapy, we are seeing success. So I just want to tell parents that, there's hope out there, as your child gets older and gets to where we are, that you could make some progress in that area.
That is really it. And I was going to say the reason why we didn't have as much success is because he wasn't able to express his thoughts, like you said. And he still wouldn't now if we weren't asking him. It's not like it's voluntary information that comes out.
And I will say that the lady that he sees, like, they have a different relationship than we have with him. So he feels more comfortable, for whatever reason, telling her his worries and, how things affect him. He tells her things differently than he tells them to us.
And I think I know why. Because he asked us for help.
Oh, so he was ready.
Struggling so much with his worries about the peanut allergy and with other things. And he was crying. He said, Mommy, I need help. Can you help me? Can you find a doctor to help me? Okay. So that's when we went for the anxiety therapy, because we Google searched, because we're like, oh my goodness, what can we do for him? And we came across that. And we had a friend who, her child was also getting it. And so I'm like, okay, let's look into that. So we found that. And I mean, I wrote this down because Bryce said to her, it was probably like after their third meeting, and he said, oh, thank you for letting me tell you all these things, all about my sabotages.
My sabotages.
But like for him, he feels like he's being sabotaged by things or by people.
Yes.
And he knows he can unload those worries to her. And, and sometimes, like, he would have not have known to bring up the list, right? But I know that that's a worry for him. And then once I can bring it up with her,
they can talk about it.
Then he could talk about it. And so, it's a team effort, because she doesn't know Bryce. And so she doesn't know all the questions to ask.
And he doesn't know all the things to tell her.
He doesn't know all the things to tell her that worried him. So she looks to me like, okay, Mom, what's going on? And she does a great job with the baby steps. I think last time we mentioned that she had said, sleep 2 nights in your room. And so we're doing that for the month of July. And actually, Bryce tried the other night to do a 3rd night on his own. He's like, maybe I can do it. Let me try it.
Love the confidence.
Yeah. And we said, okay, go ahead. And we said, if you don't, it's okay. Don't consider it a fail. Be glad that you tried, right? That's a win for you. And so he tried and he couldn't do it. And he came back and we're like, it's okay. Hey, we're proud of you for even trying. And then I just reminded him, I said, well, remember, what your therapist told you? She said that you should do every other night and we should wait until August. I said, so you tried 2 nights in a row? Because he goes, I don't think my brain was ready for that. So I said, you're right. Your brain wasn't ready for that. But next time, when it's next month, we'll do Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I think your brain will be ready then. And I think it will because we're preparing him now to make that transition. And then he said to her last week, he goes, if I could do all the nights, wouldn't that be something? And we both go, it would be. And you're going to get there, buddy.
He is saying some funny things too lately.
So that was great. And then another thing we're working on with him is like he's been having trouble transitioning from his breaks to going back to school because he's doing something that it's hard for him to stop. And so she gave him the challenge of choosing 2 activities that he can stop immediately and not feel like he's, affecting anybody else or that he's going to get frustrated, basically.
And what are those 2 activities? So
if he's watching a YouTube video, it's
stop
not live.
that.
You can pause it, no problem. We figured out that the Wii does not work for a school break. And he understood it. He tried it, and then he's like, that's too hard for me to stop. And I said, okay, so maybe that's an after-school activity. And he's like, yes, Wii is after school. But it's like he's helping make the choices and recognizing it, which makes a world of difference. And then he flies his helicopter, which is fine. He's got a little remote helicopter that he flies in the house, and he can land that. So, those are the 2 things that we took back, and he's been really much better. Like, stop, and then he'll say, did I do good, Mommy? Like, he knows. And I'm like, yeah, you did good. We transitioned in, and I want him to take the responsibility to stop the timer and to sit in his seat. I said, I shouldn't have to keep telling the timer to stop, and I shouldn't have to keep telling you to go to your seat. If you were in a real school, you would not be able to do all this. You have to, when the bell goes off, you go to your class, right? It's the same thing. If you go to a job, when they say it's time to work, you have to be able to stop and go to work. So that's what we're working on. And he's getting that. So that's good news. And I think, that's kind of what's been happening around here. It's been a good season going on.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, these are the funny things that Bryce says and the sweet things that Bryce says. So I was just going to share some of those. And then we'll get Bryce in and see if we can get him to say some things live. But he doesn't do as well talking on here as he does with us. But he says the cutest things. So the sweet thing that he said was, I don't know, it just came out random the other night. And he goes, I'm so glad I got picked for this family. Do you remember
That's
that?
That's right. Yes, that was funny.
We're like, we're glad you got picked for this family too, buddy. I mean, there's so much love in this home. And I hear him telling you, I always love you, Daddy.
Yes,
and he told me today,
so sweet.
I always love you, Mommy. You have the softest face and we're going to be friends forever. And I said, yeah, we are. He's a sweet kid. And then he said, okay, so this one was really funny. And again, we recognize that it's probably funnier in the moment because you have to be there to hear it. But hopefully you can appreciate these when we share them. So you and I, we were laying in bed one night, and Bryce, it was one of the nights Bryce was in our bed hanging out with us. And so you were talking about a time when we first started dating that you broke your toe, and I started laughing. And I laugh when I'm nervous, and
yes.
I'm so sorry, right? I'm still apologizing for laughing at you when you broke your toe because I didn't know you really broke it, but apparently you did.
Yes. So
you said to Bryce, in all seriousness, you said, Bryce, if I ever die, don't let Mommy laugh at me. And Bryce immediately comes back in full seriousness. He said, I definitely will not. I will mute her mouth.
Mute her mouth.
I would mute her mouth. And then we started laughing. And then he goes, and he's still serious. And he says, I will zip her lips. Oh my gosh. So I have used mute her mouth more than once. It has been cracking me up. So anyway, that was super funny.
That is funny.
He is a funny dude. Yes. And then we were out on the boat with our family, and our niece Haley was with us, who we hadn't seen in a while, and it was so great to see her. And I don't know, Bryce said something, and I couldn't tell you what it was, but I know Haley just said, that was a good analogy, Bryce. And he says, that was a simile. Because we've been studying that in language arts. Yeah. She's like, okay, it was a simile. So he will correct you on things.
Yeah.
That, have no doubt on that. And
our apologies to Haley, because
oh yeah,
he does. He has face blindness, and he hadn't seen Haley in a while, and we were at the house having dinner or something.
Well, he had seen her the day before, but it was the next night.
It was the next night, and he didn't recognize her, and
he knows Haley and loves Haley so much.
I just don't get it. But it's something in his brain. He looks at the hair, and she had her hair up actually for dinner.
She did.
And that was, I don't know if she had it up.
She had it up on the boat too.
Did she?
Yeah. Okay. But it was a different outfit.
Yeah.
It was different clothing.
But Bryce, he doesn't look like at the facial features. Like, he doesn't look at eyes, nose, and mouth. He looks at like hair and clothes and height and things that, when he looks at houses, he looks at the garage door. He doesn't look at the house.
That's true.
Right? Mm-hmm. So it's really puzzling, and we may not know more about that until he's even more older.
Tell us
Is that even a word?
Just older.
Older, yeah. So, yeah, we're sorry, Haley.
Yeah, we are, honey.
Yeah, and nothing personal.
He knows you and he loves you.
He loves you.
Very much.
Yes.
Oh, so the last thing I jotted down was actually something that he said yesterday. So the prior weekend, I had gone away for a couple of nights with one of my best friends, and I only went a half hour away, but it was nice for me to be away for a couple of nights. And Bryce does okay with that, because she said, he does okay, right? As long as he knows when you're coming home. I said, exactly. If he knows when I'm coming home, then he's good. And he had called and he wanted to know what time I was going to be there on Sunday. Yep. So I overshot it so that I would be home sooner than what we told him. But once he has that, then he was good. Mm-hmm. And so while I was away with her, she had brought an art project for us to do. And it was really great. I've been looking for something to do for myself as like a pastime, but also Bryce has not been showing a lot of interest in art. So I needed something different. And so when I saw what she brought, it has to do with making designs out of crushed glass and resin, which is like a really fancy glue, and doing it in frames. I thought, oh man, Bryce will love this. And as far as the crushed glass goes, it's safe if you wear gloves. And I thought if he can get past the fact
it's
with
not
that,
really
then
sharp.
he'll be okay. Yeah. Right, exactly. You just wear it to be cautious. And so anyway, so I showed him the piece that I did, and he loved it. He's like, wow, that's so beautiful. And he thinks it looks like shiny diamonds and things like that.
Yeah.
It's the glittery shine, I will tell you. And so I said, great. Would you like to do that with me? And he said, yes, I would. I said, okay. So I ordered supplies. So yesterday we did our first project together, and he did a really good job with it. I was showing him what to do, and he said, will you help me? Of course. So we got it all designed, and he loved it. And then he said, I love this art, Mommy. And I said, oh, good. So he said, yeah, I might be wanting to do more art with you now.
Oh,
and then he says, it's a higher possibility.
It's a higher possibility.
I said, well, great. I'm glad to know that's a greater possibility, because I do love doing art with you. So, so that's another win for me.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be doing some more art. But I love the way he said that.
Yeah, he's funny.
It's a higher possibility. I'm like, great.
Why don't you see if he wants to come in?
All right,
I hear him talking about something out there.
Let me go see. We'll be right back.
Go ahead and sit down.
That was like terrible timing.
It's all good. He's waiting for you.
Yeah, it's alright.
All right, hello, Bryce.
Hey, hello.
How's it going today?
It's going good today.
So yeah, what happened
So
today?
guess what? The treadmill arrived with no scratch.
Yeah, tell the story about the treadmill.
It was great, first of all. It was not damaged, no holes as the last time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
What happened last time?
the last time there were holes in it,
In what?
in the box.
Yeah, so we had to.
So we had to return it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then on the second time, it was okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we're excited to have that, right?
Yeah, we are.
Cool. What else is going on?
Well, the thing about it is that we can exercise now.
Yeah. Would you like to do that on your school breaks?
Yeah,
That'd be good.
some running in there.
Yeah, get some running in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to talk about bowling.
Oh, what about bowling?
competition.
Oh, what's happening there?
And I got first place ribbon.
Oh, that's right. You did get a first place ribbon.
Yes, last week I got a first place ribbon.
Do you remember what your score was?
My score was 120 and 106.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's one of your favorite sports, huh?
It is. Bowling is one of them.
Yeah.
It is one of them, and it's fun.
Yeah, for sure.
It's all luck.
It's
Some skill.
Well, yeah, it's got skill, doesn't it?
Some skill, some luck.
Yeah. What else is happening in your world?
Oh.
Tell us about Miss Sophia. What happens there? Your CBT, your cognitive behavior therapist. How do you like Miss Sophia?
Yeah, she helps me with my worries.
Yeah?
Yeah, she always does.
And tell me about a worry that she's helped you with.
Like, with a lot of steps at once.
Oh, like
For school.
Like when you have a lot of
With
steps.
a lot of reviews.
And what does she tell you to do?
And she tells you one step at a time.
Okay. Good. Good. Do you like going to see her?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Okay. What else do you want to talk about? Let's talk about two more things.
I don't know.
What's going on in your life right now?
I don't know.
What's your
We
favorite
played
game?
with Michael in
Yeah.
the sprinkler.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
And we went to an arcade.
Oh, what was the name of it?
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's. What was your favorite game there?
The wheel.
The wheel?
Where we
Spin
gambled.
the wheel?
Where we gambled.
Yeah, you gambled?
Yeah.
What'd you get for gambling?
600 tickets.
Woo! Is that good?
That's better.
Yeah.
We were trying to go for that mega bonus.
Yeah. And that was that the most exciting game for you?
Yeah.
Spinning the wheel.
Yeah.
For tickets.
For ticks.
So you don't want to ride a motorcycle or play Angry Birds or any of that stuff?
No, I did other stuff also.
But that wheel was your fave.
Yeah. It's fun for me to do the wheels.
You do the wheel on Roblox too, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of wheel spins.
Yeah.
I just spam the wheel.
You spam the wheel?
Which game is that?
Yeah, where I gamble when I got that mega jackpot the other day on a wheel game.
Yeah, what's that wheel game called?
Neon Dream.
Neon Dream. Okay, so there you have it, people. If you want the wheel game on Roblox, it's called Neon Dream.
No, it's called Cornerstone Arcade.
Oh, or AKA
the
Cornerstone Arcade.
Cornerstone Arcade, and the name of the wheel game is Neon Dream.
Neon Dream, okay.
That's the name of the game.
Gotcha.
If you spell out all of 9 letters, you can unlock the mega bonus.
Oh, okay.
And when I got it, I thought I got 4 tickets instead of 1,200.
Whoa.
And I thought I was going to get the 4 because it said the spinner was on the 4.
Uh-huh.
So I thought I was going to get the 4, but for some reason the game glitched and gave me the jackpot.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, Thanks for talking about all that. That was fun.
That was good.
I had fun talking to you.
All right. I gotta say goodbye.
Yeah, I know you want to get back to Michael.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, okay, all
All
right.
right. Goodbye,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks for listening. Kisses for Mommy. Well, there you have it.
That was a big deal for him because he was on the FaceTime with Michael, and we've been working on anxiety about like not worrying about Michael not being there if he calls him back.
Yeah.
About
stopping what you're doing.
Stopping what you're doing and
something
transitioning
else.
and
so he had to
worrying.
do all that just now to come in and talk. And we
made a compromise. So
Yeah.
Michael didn't hang up because Bryce didn't trust that Michael would pick back up.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael was willing to just sit in his room and hang out and wait for us to finish. And then he left the room. Or Bryce was willing to then leave the room.
Mm-hmm,
So yeah, it's like something we're just constantly working with. So
worked out good.
it did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're glad you got to hear Bryce's voice that he came on today. Thanks for listening to us and all our updates. And
Tell them about your new YouTube channel.
I guess I should. So I started a new YouTube channel that's just me. And I'm not doing a podcast. I'm just doing it in a YouTube form. So it's easy for me to just record it when something's kind of laid on my heart. But I feel like I've been going through so much with this cancer and just different seasons of life, as an autism mom as well. And so I'm just trying to share encouragement and hope and lessons that I've learned in life that might help other people. So if you want to check it out, they're relatively short. They'll be like 10 to 20 minutes, so they won't be that long. But I'm just going to share them as it's laid on my heart, and hopefully people will, be encouraged by them. I think if you put at Sandy's -seasons, it comes up. And then it's called Seasons of Life. So hopefully between those two things, you'll be able to find it. The
channel name is Seasons of Life.
And then I'll put the link in the show notes if that makes it easier for those who look at the show notes. But anyway, that's something new that I just have started. And I've already done 2 episodes, and I'm hoping again that I'll be able to do that, a couple of times a month, which will be great.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Okay. Have a great day.
We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.